Today, I'll talk you through how to weigh your food and track your calories effectively. I'm Dr. Rawat, a physician who studied nutrition at Harvard and coaches on reversal of metabolic disease at healthgroupcoaching.com. The first thing to understand is that if you download MyFitnessPal or Cronometer, then it seems fairly straightforward on how to track your calories, but that is not as accurate. There are primarily two ways of doing it. The rough estimation way would be through volume, so that would be going by cup size, half a cup, bowl, handful. That's not very accurate. And when you have more calorie dense foods like nuts, for example, or peanut butter, a spoonful of peanut butter in one hand and another person's spoonful of peanut butter could be 100 calories apart. And if you're trying to be more accurate, then the right way to do it is do it by weight. And so not by volume, by weight, which means you weigh the food. And personally, I just do this uncooked. And the reason I do this uncooked, I don't get too bothered about the weight after cooking, is because for the most part, foods either become dehydrated or lose water after cooking, or they become more hydrated. They get addition of water after cooking, but water doesn't have calories. So I'm not too bothered about that. I just weigh uncooked food. And if you're making a dish which is more complicated, and let's say if it contains oils, then you must add in the calories of those oils. But things like salt, pepper, spices, water, these things don't increase calorie in a food, and so you don't have to add those calories. So on my blog, I have written instructions on this. I do have links also to the food scale that I'll be using today and the app I'm using called Cronometer. Cronometer I prefer over MyFitnessPal simply because you can scan barcodes and get the calories real easy. Otherwise, MyFitnessPal does have a better interface to integrate all of your other apps, perhaps your smartwatch and your smart scale. If it works, getting them to integrate can be a bit of a hassle, but purely from having a free app which allows you to scan barcodes, you can beat Cronometer, and that's the one I'm using today. Today, I'll be making myself a quick snack. This will be my protein powder with Greek yogurt and frozen fruits from Costco. And today I am on my 900 calorie day. How this works is that we just got over Diwali weekend and had a lot of food, a lot of sweets, gained a bit of weight. And so I'm going to do the 5-2 diet this week, which means 2 days in the week. I'll be restricting myself to under 900 calories. If you do the same thing on 2 consecutive days, let's say on a weekend, that would be called the 60-hour challenge. I'll be doing the 5-2, which means I'll just restrict to 900 calories 2 days. Today is one of those 2 days. So far, I believe I've had about 350 calories. It's afternoon already, and I'm going to have some more calories now in the form of this high protein snack. So let's get going. One question I often get asked is why I don't recommend tracking every single day and why I recommend this 2 days a week. The reason for this is multifold. First of all, I don't like the concept of continuous calorie deficit. On my program, the intention is not just to lose weight, it is to lose fat and increase muscle mass. I believe a more effective strategy is to be more catabolic on certain days, and these would typically be your non-gym days when you can significantly reduce calories, do what's called a fasting mimicking diet, reduce weight on those days, while the gym days, which could be 3 to 4 days in a week, you can eat till satiety, prioritize your protein, and hit the gym hard. That's what I like to do. It's not to say that you can eat completely like normal on those other days. What I do recommend is for the diet to be a clean diet, mostly whole foods, single ingredient, simple foods, or let's say 80% of the time. And I also recommend early time restricted feeding, which is a form of intermittent fasting where you prioritize eating early and not eating late, depending on how much weight you need to lose, how much metabolic disease you need to reverse, or just generally how experienced you are and how comfortable you are with fasting. You could have breakfast by 9 a.m. and then finish by 7 p.m. if you're fasting for 14 hours, finish by 5 p.m. if you're fasting for 16 hours, and finish by 3 p.m. if you're fasting for 18 hours. And you could do that 5 to 6 days in a week. So I like to think that my clients would maintain a calorie balance or perhaps a small calorie deficit through a clean diet and early time restricted feeding 5 days of the week. But if you really need to accelerate that weight loss, 2 days of that week, you can also do this, which is the 5-2 challenge or the 60-hour challenge, where you restrict your calories to under 900 calories. So here we have a Costco mixed berries, and a serving of this would be, let's see, half a cup. Now remember, we're not going to go by volume, we'll be going by weight, which is 80 grams. That would be just 45 calories, and high protein, high fiber, antioxidants, nutrients, vitamins. You can't beat berries. But the main thing here is we're not going to go by some kind of blind half a cup. You're going to measure out 80 grams here. So first thing to do is turn on your food scale. This is the Renpho scale. I have a weighing scale by the same brand, Smart Scale. Put your saucer on there. And now you want this to go back to 0. So you press the tare button, which should take it back to 0. Now I'm going to put berries in there until I get a serving size, which is 40 calories, and that's 80 grams. Here we are. We have 80 grams or one serving size of mixed berries from Costco. Now while that's being defrosted, this is my favorite plant protein. I like it because it's plant-based. I don't like whey protein or mammalian proteins. I mean, they're more anabolic, and you do need more volume, probably about 20% extra of a plant-based protein to get the same anabolic effects. But long term, I believe that plant-based proteins are less inflammatory, better for recovery, better long term. Just ask Novak Djokovic or LeBron James. So this one has one serving size would be 1 scoop or 40 grams. And I like this particular plant protein because it also contains a lot of healthy food extracts. It contains probiotics. It contains quite a few vitamins and minerals as well alongside. So it's a nice something I like to have along with my multivitamin as well. I've got both flavors. This is the protein flavor. I've got the vanilla flavored as well. I usually put the vanilla in my smoothie, and I put this in my snack. I'm going to have to measure out 40 grams of this. Now to get the right weight, you can either add something like we saw with the berries, or you could subtract it as well. So what I'll do here is taking the lid off, put it up here, and it comes to our weight. Now I press the tare button, put the scale on 0. There we go. Now to get 40 grams out, I need to now pull out 40 grams. And when the 40 grams are out, as you can see, I've already taken 33 grams there. Then I know I've pulled out 40 grams. This is the chocolate flavored. Here we are. So scales on minus 40, which means I have pulled out exactly 40 grams of plant-based protein. Next, we have this high protein, low fat Greek yogurt. And one serving size of this would be 175 grams. So here, instead of using the subtraction method, we'll go back to the original. We go back to the addition method, but of course you put the saucer on first, and then you press the tare button to take it to 0. And now I will pour yogurt into this until we get to a serving size of 175 grams. There we are, perfection, 175 grams. That looks beautiful. How about adding some healthy fats in there? So we'll add some walnuts into that. You can put the whole thing there and press the 0 button, and we'll be adding some walnuts now. There we are, added 21 grams of walnuts. It actually tastes quite nice, almost like an ice cream with walnuts, and often I'll put other healthy fats like chia seeds in there as well. And how do the macros and calories stack up? Let's have a look. First of all, you can see what I've had already. Today I've already consumed 354 calories. You can see I've had a scoop of my collagen powder, which I mix in with my black coffee. That was 35 calories. I've had a kombucha, again Costco, 2 eggs, boiled eggs, 76 calories each. I've had 1 banana, which I measured out at 109 grams, and that was 97 kilocalories. So you can see I've already consumed 354 calories, and I've got 546 calories to play with. Pretty sure this will not have crossed, and I'll have some more calories to play with. Let's have a look. The best thing about this is you can just scan the barcode. So you open scan food, turns the camera on, and food, here we are. The amount was 1 scoop, which was 36 grams. Yes. Next, I'm going to add my protein powder, add scanned food. There we are. We had 175 grams, which was 1 added as well. Third, I'm going to add my walnuts. I'm going to search for walnuts, but then I'll be changing the serving size to grams, and I had measured it to 21 grams. Here we are. You can see the plant-based protein was 130 calories. The Greek yogurt was 100 calories. And the walnuts, although they didn't take a lot of space, 137 calories. So that means I've already consumed 721 calories. Now I've got 179 calories to play with. When I feel hungry in the evening, I could possibly have some pumpkin seeds or some olives, something like that. Let's have a quick look at the macros. So on Cronometer here, you have a section here where you can set your targets. And I've set my targets at 35% of calories from protein, 35% from carbs, and 30% from fats. Now, I'm not saying there is a particular right or wrong way of doing this. It just happens to be the kind of macro split that I use on my fasting mimicking days. I don't belong to the Walter Longo high fat, low protein, low carb ideology. I don't believe that it's your insulin or suppression of mTOR which is the most beneficial aspect. I associate more with the Professor Roy Taylor camp, where I believe that calories are the biggest determinant, and certainly he was able to reverse diabetes in his landmark studies with a reduction in calories, because ultimately it's the removal of ectopic fat from the pancreas and liver which reverses metabolic disease. It's not so much related to insulin spikes or mTOR. In any case, I believe that protein intake needs to be adequate, particularly to avoid any loss of muscle mass related to fasting. And if you go back here to the macros, you can see I'm doing quite well. I've got about 20% energy intake remaining in the day. I've consumed 62.7 grams of protein, which is 80% of my 35% target. I've consumed 28.5 grams of fats, which is 95% of my 30% target, and I'm running a bit low on carbs. There you are. That's how you can limit yourself to 900 calories 2 days a week for significant weight loss and still maintain healthy food. If you look at the studies done by Professor Roy Taylor at Newcastle University, where he reversed diabetes, he was limiting them to about 850 calories per day, but this was a meal replacement. Also, if you look at the study from China, in which they did the 5-2 and they limited men to 600 calories and women to 500 calories, they saw significant reversal of diabetes. In fact, on average, the clients lost over 10 kilograms or 24 pounds in weight over 16 weeks. But again, they were using a meal replacement. The approach I'm taking is you can reduce your calories significantly, lose a lot of weight, reverse your metabolic conditions without having to use a meal replacement, just using protein powders, Greek yogurt, and generally you can actually eat anything you like. But generally speaking, it'll be much easier if these are simple foods, simple ingredients, single item foods whenever possible. You have to be sure that you weigh your food and go by weight, not by volume, and you can achieve the same results by just following this kind of procedure. Just want to repeat, this is not something I recommend every single day of the week. I do not recommend continuous calorie restriction. What I recommend is that you should be going to the gym 3 to 5 days a week, and 2 non-gym days is when you could do this significant calorie restriction. If you do this on 2 consecutive days, like on a weekend, it would be called the 60-hour challenge, where you start 7 p.m. on the Friday, finish 7 a.m. on the Monday, and you restrict yourself to 900 calories on the Saturday and the Sunday. If you do this on 2 non-consecutive days, like personally, I go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I would do this on a Tuesday and a Thursday, then that would be called the 5-2 diet. Of course, losing fat mass is one of the most important things for reversing metabolic disease. But there are more things which need to be done, which include increasing muscle mass, optimizing the gut microbiome, improving insulin sensitivity, and also making changes to your nutrition and supplement regime. If you're interested in that, then do check out my website, healthgroupcoaching.com. There are 4 main parts of the program. One is 8 Zoom classes, typically Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time in the month. Second part is tracking. Clients are expected to measure their body fat, their body mass, report their activity tracking, sleep tracking to me once a week. The third part is these rapid weight loss challenges. And the fourth part is changes to nutrition and supplements. Hundreds of clients have gone through the program already. And so if you're interested, check out the website. There are some nice testimonials on the website as well. Make sure you share this video with anyone who needs to lose weight or reverse metabolic conditions like prediabetes, fatty liver, polycystic ovaries, sleep apnea, blood pressure. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again at the next video.